Hello again. This is the Waterman, Spiritual Toolbox number 96, the Love chapter number 72, audio recording number 414, and examination table number 76. Okay, today is November 28th of 2021. Okay, it's a Sunday. It don't matter to do this all the time. Okay, and we're in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 7. Okay, we're speaking about the love of God. Okay, this is commonly known as the love chapter. This whole chapter, 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Let's continue in it. Start off reading it from the King James Version. It says, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Okay? Now, let's start breaking this down. Now, the first word in there, in the interlinear Bible, the way they have it listed out, those words, is pas, number 3956, and it's translated as all things. Okay? Now, it's this word right here.
Strong's G 3956. Pas. Pas.
Okay, and pas, okay, yep, it's an adjective. It means all, any, every, the whole, everyone, and all manner of. Everyone, all manner of is, you can find that in the Greek Thayer's Greek lexicon, okay? And the others, you can find that in either the online biblical, on the Blue Letter Bible, or in the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, okay? That's the meaning of pas. It leaves nothing out. Just like God, when He's dealing inside there. In order for that thing to go all the way, that ball of your thinking process, one little ball of your thinking process, to be going through that processing of coming out of that poop thinking, and you're agreeing with God, going all the way through that stuff. Those storms of life, many of them, and you're agree, exist, right back in, that's why in God, resting in God and in union with God and being like heavy water. All this stuff, this is all of it in each one of them. God's processing it out and making it like purified gold to God's standard. Making it heavier water, those thought processes of God in you. He's processing out all that dark ignorance of His ways. So that in that thought process it's purified right into the exact nature, character, and authority, knowing you're existing in the self-existing one. It's like held tightly, so securely inside of this, like pipeline, inside of this dense, heavy water, this glorious water of God, these glorious thought processes of God. It's being counted. It's like that word H-O, ha. It's the or this one, the definite article, this one. The one that's counted. Because this went all the way through it, and that's one of your thought processes. And then that's pas, this out of all of them. God's bringing you back to whatever level of, or like percentage of all your thinking processes that He is like predestined, that He is determined. Whatever God chooses, His will, God's will, his desire, his purpose be done. In you personally, all of that in you, he's bringing it back. Stop resisting, saying no, 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 or I disagree, or I'm looking, is there anything I can salvage all this crap, all this poop thinking, right? And then you turn into a pillar of salt doing that, right? Or you gotta go back out in the wilderness, go around that desert some more. Like the Israelites, taking them 40 years. When Jesus gave an example, 40 days. Okay? In that heat, when the days, it's burning out. Double, 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 double. 40 days. It's an astronomical number. I doubled it on one of my audio recordings and went over that. It's a long one. But I think it's been a while back. I can't remember the number, but it is tremendously large. It's just one thought process. It's like where God's chop, 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 and it's melt, 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 all the impurities in that one thought process, one area. And then you've got a whole innumerable number of them. God's going to get it all that he wants. It's just like you told Moses and Aaron, you go tell Pharaoh, let my people go. And I'm going to soften his heart, soften his mind, these pressures and all this stuff. I'm going to cause him to say, okay, I'll let him, I'm reasonable. Go ahead, you can have them. I don't want to, but go ahead. And then whenever you're out of his sight, taking them out of his sight, then God, the self-existing one, is going to harden his heart. Then say, well, I got to ask him permission. No, God's going to cause it to happen. And then, bam, he's going to come after you and them people for my glory. For God's glory. So all this stuff happening, going and parting of the Red Seas and stuff that God did, he used Moses but it was God doing that stuff. They walk across on dry land, all that stuff to symbolize, to show you what's going on. God's doing the same thing now. And he's repeating it inside of each and every one of us. Many times his baptismo is repeatedly dipping, submerging you in this bitter vinegar solution. This stuff, it's harsh. Taking a big old drink of, I could drink some coffee as long as it's not too hot, or drink a big glass of water. Pretty easy in the natural. Big glass of water, it's not too awfully cold, make my head hurt because it's too cold, or it's real hot. Just it's nice water. I can just guzzle that. All right? But that's the thought processes, okay? That's agreeing with you. But man, you take and try to guzzle big old, not just vinegar, man, I mean make it really, really harsh. Vinegar. It's pretty tough to take this big glass of just the vinegar. Take down 20-ounce glass, big cup of that vinegar, but it says that stuff is changing, that really harsh stuff, that calamitous tribulation, all these persecutions, that thalipsis, and all these fiery trials. Take that and guzzle it down like it's nothing. Oh, hey, brother. You can only do that through Christ. I can do all things through Christ. It's in Christ, I believe. I think that was the word. I'd have to look at it again. I've looked at it, but having a little bit of a brain fart. I had to refresh my memory. But I think it's in. It might be dia through. But I could do it all You know, when I'm EN and SYing God, you can go right through it. That vinegar solution, it's helping you to see, like once you go through something really, really harsh, you come through the other side, wow, that was some bad stuff. Then going through things at that level, it's like, you're not as likely to give up on it. So, I made it before, do it again. It ain't that bad. Not really when I got the bigger picture of what was going on. It wasn't so bad. It's like that parade of life. Being this start and finish of a big parade, being your whole life. Along the way, some rocky road. Little bumps and stuff, speed bumps and all these things. Okay? And like you're like a little barber shop or something, little storefront, and you're looking out that window, or you're sitting on the sidewalk watching that parade, you're looking at it from down in the parade of life. And you see all this bumpy area, think, oh no, I'm not going to get through this. But you got to elevate yourself in the spirit. God's burning up that garbage. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. 3 bags full. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. I'm grabbing on and I'm holding on to you, Father. Burning this stuff up. And that thing kind of smooths out, that big old sine wave. You go from like a radio wave to microwave on up. Right? It's no longer just what I see, hear, taste, touch, and smell. It's a little bitty visible light spectrum from that Roy G. Biv, that red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. That little bitty 300 nanometers of a big 2,000-mile strip. So that's a 2,000-mile parade. This is like 300 nanometers, all that. That really, in real life, that'd be like less, I wouldn't even cover your foot. 300 nanometers. Cut a meter a billion times and then take 300 of those little bitty 1/1000th of it. Shoot, that probably would cover your toe. That's all you can see, hear, taste, touch, smell. Or maybe a big bump. Oh, I can't make it over this one. That's such a mountain to climb. Such calamitous. Elevate, come up higher, my child. Be raised up. Burn that trash, that garbage thinking up, so you come up in a higher realm from that fleshly thinking down there on the like the street of life, where you're looking right at those. You're focused on all this tribulation, calamities, fire, trials. Come up higher in the spirit. You can see it's like God. You see and understand more of what God's doing. So, oh, that ain't nothing. Here, just take another step. Step right over it like a visible light spectrum. That's 300 nanometers. Boy, that was tough. It was tough at the time. After you do that a time or two, you're like, it's just another one. Go ahead. Rest in God. He's got it covered. It's not going to kill you. Quit saying, oh, my ship is going to sink. It's going to kill me. This thing's driving me nuts. Hey, yuck. Or what? Well, doggies, this is daggone rough. You know, it is rough at the times. I'm making light of it to show you that God's given you the ability, the opportunity to, as you agree, and you come through this stuff, later you're just like, this ain't nothing, man. Just take a full step and you got that thing cleared easy. Don't even take a full step. Take a little shuffle and you got over this one. Don't you bring on something real tough. Maybe go real many times to that and put like half a billionth, half a meter. Well, it'd be 500 million nanometers. Would be 500,000, not just 300. 500 million out of a billion, right? Because you cut a nanometers means 1/1000th. Take and go half a meter. You can still take one step and cover half a meter, because that's roughly what a yard is 3 feet. A meter, I think is, what is that? I think it's like 39.56 inches. I'm just pulling it out of my head. But it's been a long time since I took physics and stuff, but I think that's what it is. Okay? Had to actually convert it. I can look it up on chart. Piece of cake, using railroad track things, do a little math. Simple. Well, you know. But see, when you haven't experienced it, haven't went through this stuff, giving you 500 meters, or 500,000, or not 500,000, 500 millionth, okay? 500 million over 1 billion, you get half a meter, and putting that in meters, okay? Taking a step and going over a half a meter, that's a pretty good little, between 1.5 feet and 2 foot, closer to 1.5 feet, okay? Let's just say 20 inches, okay? That's roughly almost 40 inches is a meter, okay? So half of that, 20 inches. In the natural, probably do that step most of the time. Most people can. If you're healthy and everything, you're an adult. But as the toddler that can't hardly even walk, been back like in an epios, 0 to a 2-year-old, probably gonna be a little bit too tough for them, right? To step across that, right? But as they're doing baby steps, getting through this parade of life, you know, pretty soon, you know, they're growing up, they're maturing, they're getting bigger, they're, you know, in the natural, like in the spiritual, you're growing. It's like load testing you. And you can do more. God loves us all. He cannot deny himself. God is faithful. He cannot deny himself. Can't deny that spirit, that seed, that faith in you that he's wanting to bring back. Just agree. See? And whenever you're doing that, you're elevating yourself up above this parade of life. So that you're looking down at it, so to speak, metaphorically speaking. So that's not that bad. It's not this so calamitous, I can't make this step. Yeah, it's stretching me at whatever stage of growth I'm in. You know, it's a little tougher here, but I can make it. Little bitty baby, it's barely able to walk and stuff. Maybe it go down less than that. Maybe it's more like that 300 nanometers. That's a little tiny step. Almost shuffle your feet and get over that one. All right? And gradually increase it so it's a whole meter. But you almost got a hop to get over that bad boy. That'd be a big feller. Big man, big woman, an adult. Right? To kind of, or at least a teenager. Right? Breathos, Nepios, Pation, Technon, like a teenager going up to a 30-year-old. Okay? And then spiritually speaking, as you mature from a 30 to a pater, being that weos, a mature son, responsibilities are greater, but they handle it so much better. They're wise, not just intelligent, but they're wise. I know the battle's the Lord's. God's not going to put more on you than you can actually do. But you want to stretch pretty good. Okay? Now, you got to get back to this other here. Oh, okay. I did start it. Pas. Okay, we're in that first thing. Beareth all things, okay? And I got all things. I was just pas, okay? Leaves nothing out. God's thorough. He's building you up, raising you up, strengthening you. Excuse me. Strengthening you internally in your thinking process, just by burning out that old and chopping it out and refining it. Okay, that's whole processing. Okay, now let's go down to the next word, beareth. Beareth. Okay, and it comes from this word.
Strong's G 4722. Stego.
Stego. 4722. Okay, and that is a verb. It comes from 4722. Is to endure patiently. Not to cry and throw temper tantrum and all this. No, it's just saying, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. I want my bags full. Right? Of you, God. Because right now it's got an awful lot of that poop thinking in me. Chop that out. Melt it off. Melt it out of me. In each and every thought process, okay? And it means in the Thayers, it's saying to protect, keep by covering. God is your roof. God's covering you. He's protecting you as a mama hen protects its baby chicks. Just come back in. Acknowledge God is truth. And all this poop thinking, all this your own righteousness is filthy stinking rags. It's yuck. I don't want that stuff. Nothing in it good. Okay? It also means to persevere. Like you're going through something to hold tough. When the tough gets going, the tough inside you, that Christ is pull you through. That God is what the only thing you make it through. The only gate, the way, the truth, and the life. It's to hold on to God with all you got. Like Jesus says, I-S-O-U-S. And that, the equivalent for it in the Hebrew, okay, which is a compound word there, right? It means Yahweh is salvation, okay? Is deliverance. That's how you get through this stuff. Now, also in the Thayers, it says love covers in this stego and hides and excuses the errors and faults of others and in yourself and in others. It's not saying it's not trying to justify that stuff. It's trying to like say it's all right, just come back to me. I'm not condemning you. Come back. Agree with me. Agree. Right back in and that's why I am me. I subjected you to this stuff so that you can come in and have the closest relationship with me. Back in and that's why I am me. That's subjective in each thought process. Let me purify you. That's what God's telling us. Okay? As a loving Father. Okay? It's like, it means to beareth the errors of others and the errors in yourself. Not looking to condemn, looking to nitpick at someone. If you look hard enough, you can find fault in about anything. Even when there's not any fault, you can find fault. Doesn't mean that fault's true. Doesn't mean it's the truth. But your perception of it is, I told you there was a daggone villain. I told you that God created that alpha guy. He was throwing him in hell forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and infinity plus one. It's that old alpha dog barking and carrying on making a pure jackass out of itself. God's not doing that. Okay? Now, right, he's an acquittal to you. Okay? Just keep on existing and existing, agreeing, right back into all the way from out of and right back in this way in God. Okay? Be reborn, born again, okay? And I did look up where that, I got to be reasonable, sit my way, but I'll have to break this down because it doesn't exactly say that in the King James language, but go on beyond that, that's what it said. Agree with me. Okay, I'll break it down. It might take a little series, maybe after I get done with this verse, or maybe not, maybe before that. Okay? All right, now. Okay, it endures, and endure means to support. Endures, support, to bear the weight of, to bear the weight of it. Okay, the burden of something, the burden of others, the burden. You're making. Trying to find out the motives in this. You're not looking to condemn someone, to find fault and be offended. Kind of like that little place there on this little picture there. It's like I was looking at it. It's funny. It's like, man, that looks like a great fishing spot right there. I'm thinking. And it's got this sign right there, boom, stuck down there, no fishing. And there's that cat thing at the bottom of the picture saying, that offends me. Dang, I want to go fishing there. If you look hard enough, carry on, and you're not getting your way, your carnal mind's way, it's going to cry out and bark at you. I'm offended at that. There's an awful lot of that going on, people doing this stuff. And inside of you, it's always been that way. Well, I'm just speaking and not throwing rocks at each other now. And through this social media stuff, more people hear about it, okay? But that you're always murmuring, complaining, and all this bull crap. Stop that stuff. Turn from that crap. That's poop thinking. God's not looking to condemn you. Throw that stuff away. Turn from that stuff to an about face. Abort that stuff. Ew, yuck. I don't want that old thing. That old nasty baby thinking. Smash its head against the rock. Ain't nothing good in that. And do an about face and go right back into, from out of, and in, and that's why you ain't God. And be reborn. So rebirth yourself. Be born again. In Christ. And that's why you're in Christ. Okay? Now, okay, it bears the weight of, like God load test one's bridge inside them to bear more weight. To be able to handle that load heavier and heavier and heavier each time you come through this stuff. You're able to go a little, it ain't nothing. I can handle that stuff easy now. When before you go, no, I don't know if I can handle this. Okay? Now, that looks like Stego, Stego.
Strong's G 4722. Stego.
Okay, and that comes, the root etymology, it comes from 4721. And that's this word.
Strong's G 4721. Stege.
And it actually means a roof of a house. God's your covering. He's like, how he wishes to brood over you as a mama hen broods over its chicks for protection, guarding them and stuff. Just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in that fiery furnace. God's in there protecting them. Nothing's happening to them. just party time. Daniel and the lions den. God's protecting them. God's protecting Noah out there, building this ark, and all these nasty people out there doing all kinds of malicious, mocking, slanderous stuff to him. Okay, just like in that ship. She's just taking a nap in that shit. That's inside your own mind. How long I got to put up with you? Be still. Just giving you representative, a pattern. It's the same thing now, okay? God's been your roof. Okay? Now, that was the first part of this verse. That's beareth all things. Okay? And I'm going to start this next part, and then I'll have to continue next time. I got less than a minute. Believeth all things. Okay? And it starts out, all things again, 3956, this word.
Strong's G 3956.
Pos. We just covered that, right? The whole thing, God's getting it thoroughly. A little bit at a time. He's stretching you, stretching you, stretching you. All right? And then he's bringing you right back in, and that's why in his love beyond words. Okay. I got to cut her off. It's getting ready to run out of time. Yeah, this has been Spiritual Toolbox number 96. Have a great day, and I'll continue later. Bye-bye.